Okay, now I want to show you how to put the graphics here. Um, Now we're in the standard editing mode here. If I just go to my editing setups here, this is how we usually have it set up with the timeline down here, the media on this side, the preview window, the program window, and this is the very beginning. So this is the stand up. I'll just go forward a little bit. You'll see here's the stand up. It's kind of a moving shot, but when we get on the person here, we're going to put start the graphic right about here. Now when you want to put graphics, you've got graphics mode up here. Now if this window isn't showing up, you can go window here and show the workspaces down here at the bottom, and that window will show up there. And then you can just click on the graphics mode, okay? And when you do that, it's going to bring up this window here. Now if what we've been doing and what I taught you to do, which is somewhat problematic, is to go here to type lower or lower thirds and hit return, and it brings up all these lower thirds, which is the bottom third of the screen where you put somebody's name. And people have been using this one a lot, and watch what happens when I drag it over here and drop it. Notice it takes quite a long time to even show up, and what the problem is it's taking even longer to render in the end when you're trying to output your movies. So I'm just going to walk this a little bit forward here. You're seeing how long it's taking even to do that. And then here's this thing. Well, that's all well and good to go in there now. When you go into the edit mode and you click on it, then you get to just change the names here, and it's super simple. The problem is that this can make your movie take like up to an hour to output, which is no good, of course. So I'm suggesting that you stay away from these pre-made ones. So I'm going to show you how to make one that's not pre-made. So again, you'll be over here in this graphics window. Now you want to park on the frame where you want the graphic to come in. So I'm going to walk it forward until she's right here, and it's going to come in here. And one of the things that's good to show up is what's called the title safe. So if you click on this little plus down here, you can bring up the title safe, which is right here. So if you just drag this down here somewhere where you can use it and click OK, and you can turn it on, and this just shows you where to make the graphic inside this inner box. This will not show up even when you export it, so you don't have to worry about it there. You can just kind of use it to line up your graphics. Now here in this graphics mode, and we're parked on the first frame where we're going to see it, got to make sure that this track, the video 2 track in this case, is actually turned on. Whatever track you want, in your project it might be the video 3 track. In this particular one it's the video 2 track. So once you do that, I'm just going to come up here to say graphics, new layer, text, and when I do that it's going to pop a text onto the screen. And then here I'm just going to be on the text tool, and she is Laura Rodriguez. Okay, now I'm not really in love with this font because it's kind of skinny, so I'm going to come over here to the effects controls window, move this over just a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to go look at the font. And I also have the fonts here. So the font in this case is Minion Pro. So I think I have a font in here called Marion, which I kind of like. So Marion, bold. We use that. Okay, so it's a little chunkier here, as you can see. Then I'm just going to undo that where I made another text line there. So I'm going to just take this and move it down here. And now I can make it a little bigger by just dragging the edge of it. Okay, and now I'm going to make it more visible by adding strokes and drop shadows and stuff onto it here. So I'm going to turn on the stroke, and I'm going to make the stroke about 3. And I don't want the stroke to be white, so I'm going to click here and make the stroke be black. Okay, and you see a little line on the outside of the letters. Then I'm also going to turn on the shadow and also make the shadow be black. And then this is the opacity, which I'm going to make 100%. This is the angle. I like the angle of 135. It's kind of a little down and to the right, and you can see if I turn the shadow on and off, it's already working pretty well. It's on and then off. So I'm not going to do a lot of changes to it here, but this is the distance away from the letters, which looked pretty good at 7 where it was. And this is the size of it, which kind of makes it get a little kind of fuzzy. Now you don't want to put this up much at all. Maybe at the most, let's put that at like a 5. Okay, and then this is the size of it here too. And again, I don't want to make this too big because I don't want it to turn into sitting in a black cloud here. So I'm going to just make that be 40 where it was. Okay, so we have a nice drop shadow going on here. Now you'll notice we also have a text layer here, and this is just like Photoshop. There's layers to this graphic. So rather than reinventing the wheel here, we're going to click on this and just say duplicate. Okay, so it makes another one that says Laura Rodriguez. Now of course it's right over the top of it. So we're just going to take it and just drag it up. And this we're just going to turn into a line. So we're going to click here and highlight all the text and just hit do shift and then shift dash is kind of like just creates this line, and that's fine. And then we take the move tool and put it right down here like this underneath. Okay, and then we're going to click this again and right click and duplicate this again, and this will pull underneath the line here. And we're again just get the move tool and just pull this up here so you can see it. Actually, I'm going to put this below. Okay, and I'm going to click on it and make this a little bit, hold down the shift key when you drag this and make this a little bit smaller. Okay, and then get on the text tool and change this text to like that. Undo that because I made a new line when I did that. Just get rid of that line. Make sure when I use the text tool I click inside the name and then highlight the whole name. I'm just going to call this FIU reporter. Okay, and just make sure that it's sitting at the worst, don't put it below this line. Okay, so, and what you can do is you can resize this or move it around any way you want to. So this is created fine for Laura Rodriguez. See, this is a little smaller, has her name, has a nice line. They all have drop shadows and stroke edges and everything. Now again, later on when we come to the 2 shot where she's interviewing the next woman, we need to identify this woman. So we've already created the graphic here, so we don't need to reinvent the whole wheel. We could also turn off the title safe if we want to, but I'm just going to keep it on for a second. But the way you just make a duplicate of this is if you just hold down the option key, you click the graphic, hold down the option key, and then click and drag, and it makes a copy. Okay, so when this name comes up, and all I have to do here is just get on my text tool and click inside here and change the name to Lara, capital L, L-A-R-A, Andrade. Okay, and then she is owner, Finca, table, and tap. Okay, now if you want to, you can actually go back to your text tool and click on this layer here and actually remember to hold down shift and just drag this out so it's a little bit larger. Okay, that's fine. Okay, and then there it is. So now you have both your graphics. You can, if this is bothering you, you can just turn it off. It's not going to output even when you output it. I did make a little typo there, so I'll fix that. Just click in there. All right, and there you go. So you really create the graphic just once, and then you hold down the option key, click, drag, let go of the mouse, and let go of the option key, and you make a copy of it, and then you just change the copy. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. You just change the graphic for the name of the next person. And remember, all you have to do is just identify a person one time. Like when we come back to her later, we do not put her graphic a second time. And when we come back to the reporter at the end, we also do not put her graphic a second time. Okay, and so that's it.